from WJTV studios in Jackson and across the state of Mississippi.
The month of November will get off to a cold start. Freeze warnings and watches in effect tonight.
The police went to serve a warrant but ended up needing the SWAT team. How things escalated so quickly.
I could have been dead out there.
We have an update on a shooting that made headlines days ago. The survivor sits down to talk with us. Hear what he has to say.
Streaming online 24 hours a day. This is WJTV News Channel 12 at 5.
Jackson police spent the afternoon in West Jackson responding to a standoff situation.
Well, we were on the scene with police and responders as details unfolded. Well, viewers called us as the situation escalated at a house on Marion Street off of West Capitol Street. And that's where we find News Channel 12's Terrence Friday, who is getting us answers from police on what happened today. Terrence.
Yeah, the police headed to that house to serve a simple assault warrant, but when they did, Robert Breaker, the man inside, greeted them with a machete in his hand. From that point, the police called for backup. They were assisted by police officers in Clinton and also with the area SWAT team. They cornered this section of the neighborhood, also including Capitol Street, and blocked it off for a little more than an hour. He has been subdued, though, by that taser gun and is being treated.
He is being transported to the hospital as we speak. We are very fortunate that no one had to get hurt or killed out here. I think it's a tribute to the judgment of the officers that responded and to the highly skilled members of our SWAT team.
Chief Vance went on to say that Breaker has a noted history of mental illness. We talked to some of his neighbors, and they say that they've actually had issues with him in the past. If you can see behind me, some of his relatives are actually moving him out of that house. They're in the process of doing that now. Coming up later at 6, we'll hear from them, and we'll also give you more details about how that played out today. For now, I'm Terrence Friday live in Jackson for WJTV News Channel 12.
All right, thank you, Terrence. Well, there is a big cool down coming, and that means it's finally beginning to feel a lot like Halloween around here.
Certainly is. Whether you're costumed or not, there's no denying that the temperatures are dropping. And right now, we're heading out to Ridgeland, where Ken South has a live look at the forecast. He's dressed like a Storm Team 12 chief meteorologist. Hi, Ken.
It is cold out here and the wind is really blowing, making it feel, of course, that much worse. And later tonight, it only gets colder. Let's take a look at the forecast. We're going to see clear skies, and at 7 o'clock after the sun goes down, your temperature at 55 degrees. And look at this. We're going to drop 10 degrees by midnight, another 10 degrees by first thing in the morning. That's going to put us down into the mid-30s. So there is a freeze watch and a warning for most of the state, although I really think it's going to be so dry and windy tonight, we're not going to see any widespread frost. Of course, the reason we're getting this cold, windy weather, a cold front moving through Mississippi as we speak. Notice that high pressure up to the north of us. That's cold, dry air, and that's going to settle in for the first weekend of November. So your football forecast for tonight. Normally I say bring a jacket. Tonight I'm going to say bring a coat and some gloves. You're going to need it. Temperature at 55 degrees at kickoff, but we're going to be falling back into the 40s with a brisk north wind. And remember to get weather updates 24/7. You can download the Storm Team 12 weather app. It is free at the App Store. Joining me now is News Channel 12's TJ Wary. We're out here at Ridgeland High School for the Spotlight Game of the Week, and you were saying earlier that how are the kids going to throw in this? How are they going to kick field goals?
They're going to have some pretty good arm strength and leg strength to get to that. But before we get on to the football, let's talk a little traffic first. Courtesy of MDOT, let's check the driving conditions. It's a live look at I-55 north of the Natchez Trace. If you're using this route to get to the game, you should have a smooth trip. Remember, if you're hitting the highway, dial 511 to get instant access to traffic alerts in your area through MDOT. Now on tonight's game between Pearl and Ridgeland, coaches are always saying that they want their teams playing their best ball at the end of the year, and that is the case right now for both Pearl and Ridgeland. Now Ridgeland had their 4-game winning streak snapped last week, but they're still 4-1 in region play. Pearl, on the other hand, is on a pretty impressive roll. The Pirates are on a 7-game win streak and are a win away from clinching a region title for the first time since 2008.
We're going to get Ridgeland's best ball game. They're going to come out and they're going to play as hard as they can play, and they've got a really good football team, and Coach Burton does an outstanding job. But our guys do want to, win the region. They do want to be the first group in the past several years to win that.
Now we're just getting started from our OT Spotlight Game of the Week between Pearl and Ridgeland. We'll have much more on this game coming up a little later in the show. And then at 6, reporting in Ridgeland, TJ Wary, News Channel 12 Sports.
Yeah, getting ready for football. Well, yesterday's web poll, we tied together 2 of Friday night's highlights, trick-or-treating and football.
And at last check, votes were split 50-50. Half of you said you'd rather do Football Friday, and half of you said you'd rather trick-or-treat. Well, today, Clinton is encouraging parents to take children door-to-door from dusk to 8:30. In Vicksburg, the times are from 6 to 8. In Madison, younger children should go around 5:30 to dusk, and teens from dusk to 9.
Well, do you like daylight saving time? Well, to vote, go to our web poll and invite WJTV.com and click either yes or no.
Now, this weekend across America, those clocks go back.
But a British study says that children's health would improve if we didn't lose that extra hour of daylight. Researchers in London studied whether increased daylight hours would increase kids' activity levels. They looked at 23,000 kids ages 5 to 16, and scientists found that when it gets dark early, the children are less active. The extra daylight would mean 2 more minutes of running around each day. And it may not sound like a lot, but researchers say that children only get about a half an hour of vigorous activity a day, so even a little bit would help. A shooting in broad daylight, the suspect still on the loose, but the victim is coming forward, wanting help from the public.
Shocking surveillance footage shown to the survivor as he talks with our very own Mallory Pullen. She joins us now with words from Lamar Joseph as he describes his brush with death.
Melanie and Byron, I'm in production control where I'm about to show you some video that some may consider disturbing. Now, this is video of Lamar Joseph being shot in broad daylight at the West Express service station. He tells me he was shot in the elbow and the bullet went through to his abdomen. Now, police say the men responsible are Mike Sultan and Willie Lott. They remain on the loose while Joseph is looking for justice.
He's dangerous. He's not going to stop at me. They need to get this guy off the street.
Joseph is asking anyone to come forward if they have any information on his shooter's whereabouts, and we'll hear much more from him coming up at 6. For WJTV, Mallory Pullen, News Channel 12.
And an elderly Jackson woman robbed 3 times has made headlines here on WJTV, and today calls came pouring in from viewers wondering how they can help. Just to recap, 83-year-old Marianne White was robbed back in September and again twice this month. In one of those incidents, the thieves broke her arm. Close friends say the woman has no family, but they tell us she's very grateful for the support. Now, this morning, people on Orchard View in Northeast Jackson called us to say 2 pit bulls were on the loose in the neighborhood.
Neighbors waited nearly an hour before anyone responded to calls to 911 and animal control, and News Channel 12's Beth Alexander is getting you answers.
It's every morning they get out at the same time and they run up and down the street.
Neighbors along Orchard View Drive say it's a recurring problem. 2 dogs running loose in the neighborhood.
They attack the other animals on the streets. There's children at this corner up here and then at this corner down here that wait for the school bus, and they roam around the children.
Today, when this woman, who did not want her name known or face shown, called 911, they told her to call animal control. She made the call and then waited and waited. She tells us more than 45 minutes passed before a Jackson police officer arrived, talked to the dog's owner, and had them put inside the owner's home.
But the cop told me that because animal control is so small and has so many call-ins, it takes them a long time to actually respond, and that the cops are the first response.
When I called animal control, I was told to call Jackson Police for a statement.
They're her responsibility. She's the owner.
I did talk to the dog's owner, but she did not want to go on camera and did not talk to me about the problem that her neighbors are experiencing.
She needs to take care of them, and if she doesn't do that, then she's not fit to be the owner of those dogs.
In Hinds County, Beth Alexander, News Channel 12.
At this time, Jackson police haven't yet to give us an answer as to why it took so long for an officer to arrive at the neighborhood and talk to the owner of those dogs. Another story that we are working on for you tonight, a viewer reached out to us on Facebook, and we are working to get answers. She says that her 6-pound Yorkie was shot and killed this week just because it was on a neighbor's property. Well, according to Sergeant Ken Sullivan with the Rankin County Animal Control, if a dog goes on a neighbor's property and a person feels threatened, it is within their rights to shoot. Tonight at 6 on News Channel 12, we speak with the dog's owner about what happened. There is a chill in the air, and it's the talk of the town.
So ahead of the cold weather, we called the city of Jackson to see what will be available to those who need shelter from the cold. Now, the city tells us they're going to work with Stupot to open the Opportunity Center shelter tomorrow at 4. That shelter is at 845 West Emmett Street in Jackson. And we're still working to get you more answers as the cold weather moves in.
But for now, we're getting another glimpse of football weather from Ken as he joins us from Bridgeland. Ken?
And cold air is blowing into Mississippi. I'll have your Halloween and football forecast coming up next, live from Ridgeland High School.
A few minutes of weightlessness has turned into tragedy after a crash out in California. We'll tell you what happened.
And kids in their Halloween gear have been trending on our social media. Aren't they cute? So we had you send some of their pictures of your favorite little characters. Email us at WJTVnews@WJTV.com. Keep it right here. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
And now your Storm Team 12 weather forecast with meteorologist Ken South.
Welcome back. We are live at Titan Stadium at Ridgeland High School for the Spotlight Game of the Week. And you know, in weeks past when we've done these live shots for the high school football, there's been some activity out here by this time. But tonight, everybody's staying inside, I think, until the last minute because it is cold and it is windy out here. And that's the way it's going to be, I think, for the rest of tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast. We're going to see clear skies. Your temperature at 7 o'clock at 55 degrees, and that temperature is just going to steadily drop. We'll be at 45 at midnight, and your temperature at 35 first thing in the morning. So for the first time this season, getting down into the 30s. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar combined. Of course, the reason it's cold and windy, a cold front blowing through the state this afternoon. Looks like, take a look at Live IMAX 12. The front coming through dry as expected. A couple of clouds, but absolutely no rain. Now, take a look at the current temperature. It's 62 degrees, which really doesn't sound that bad, but you do have to factor in the wind. And we've got a brisk north wind at about 24 miles per hour. And, of course, that's really going to cut hard tonight when the temperature drops. Let's take a look at your Halloween forecast. Trick-or-treaters, they're going to have to bundle up. Hopefully, they're going to be going to something warm tonight. 55 degrees with that north wind at least at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Morning lows tomorrow morning will be down into the mid-30s. A couple of places actually getting close to freezing off to the north and east of us, and that's why a freeze watch and warning has been issued for much of the state. Now, in the metro, I really think it's going to be too dry, too windy for any widespread frost to form. Let's take a look at our next weather maker. It's going to be high pressure coming in behind our front. That's going to settle southward during the day. Saturday, it's going to be chilly but sunny with highs in the 50s. On Sunday, well, temperatures will begin to warm back up. But the coldest morning is going to be Sunday morning when everybody, just about everybody, is going to be below freezing. And this is the time of the year when we should be seeing a first frost or a freeze. The average first frost for Jackson is October the 31st. The average first freeze, November the 12th. And remember, this is going to be a cold weekend. It's also going to be a long one as daylight saving time comes to an end, so we turn those clocks back 1 hour. Your forecast for tonight, clear, breezy, and cold. Your low temperature at 35. Tomorrow, sunny and chilly, the high temperature at 57 degrees. Let's take a look at that 3-day forecast. It's going to be a cold weekend, but as we advance to the 8-day, notice it will be warming up. Clouds increasing, temperatures warming back into the 70s, and that's going to lead to our next chance of rain coming in after Election Day on Wednesday. So, yeah, if you're going to be coming out to not only this game tonight, but any game across Central or South Mississippi, take a coat, take gloves. It is going to be cold and breezy. Back to you guys.
He looks
Ken is
cold.
just making me cold. He just looks so
look
cold. I
cold.
want him to zip up that jacket.
We got the best seat in the house right now.
We do. I wouldn't say it's toasty here, but
No,
it's better
yeah.
than being out there
There we
right
go.
now. Well, airbag maker Takata makes headlines again in a separate recall that could save riders from danger.
We will tell you more about that after the break.
But first, keep those trending costumes coming. Email us at WJTVnews@WJTV.com. Fireman and Pumpkin, are they cute?
Oh, they are definitely cute. We will be right back.
Look at the Ninja Turtle.
You're watching News Channel 12 at 5.
Oh, here's a look at what's WJTV's Market Watch. Now to some stocks that may have interest you right about now. It is Halloween and Walmart's good for costume sales and the Thanksgiving and Christmas sales that are about to begin. They started up today, but ended down a little bit to a price of $76.45 per share. It's Halloween, and where there's trick-or-treaters, there's chocolate, and Hershey ended up today by nearly a half a point at a closing price of $95.91. And Nissan ended up nearly a whole point today at a closing price of $18.45 per share.
And speaking of Nissan, its luxury line, Infiniti, is recalling nearly 2,000 SUVs for an airbag problem. The airbags are by, you guessed it, Takata. And the problem could send shrapnel into the passenger compartment. The recall covers 2013 QS56 models and QX80 models from 2014. This is a part of a bigger global recall of about 260,000 Nissans announced last week. There have been no injuries reported. Eric Freen, the man investigators say shot and killed a state trooper, had his day in court today. He is charged with first-degree murder after shooting and killing a Pennsylvania trooper, then leading officials on a 7-week manhunt. State police say officials have been interviewing the 31-year-old man, but won't give any details of the conversation or a possible motive. One person is dead and another seriously hurt after a spaceship plane crashes in California. According to the California Highway Patrol, Virgin Galactic had planned for years to use Spaceship Two to transport paying passengers to outer space and let them experience a few minutes of weightlessness before returning to ground. Now, the company said today's test flight began in Mojave, California.
Football and tailgating are often trending topics for fall weather. And for fall football, we send things back out to TJ for the Spotlight Game of the Week. TJ, how's it going?
Welcome back to Ridgeland. Like we mentioned earlier, Pearl can clinch the Region 2 5A title tonight, but that's not the only big game we have on tap tonight as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, just depending on what class you're in. Madison Central is chasing a playoff spot in Region 2 6A. The Jaguars need to beat Northwest Rankin tonight, and they need Murrah to beat Columbus to keep their chances alive. Also in Region 2 6A, Warren Central is taking on undefeated Starkville. The Vikings suffered their first loss of the season last week, losing to Clinton. Now, we also can't forget about the Simpson County Super Bowl between McGee and Mendenhall. The first round of the MAIS 1 and 2A playoffs start tonight. We'll have highlights from some of those games as well. The coverage starts at 10:15 tonight on the OT. And, of course, we'll have more on tonight's Spotlight game between Ridgeland and Pearl coming up tonight at 6. Reporting in Ridgeland, TJ Wary, News Channel 12 Sports.
All right, thank you, TJ. Healthy Answers are coming up when we come back.
You're watching News Channel 12 at 5.
Well, a study in the Journal of Physical Activity and Health says that dog owners average about 160 minutes of physical activity a week.
But that's the average, and not all dogs are created equal. Holly Furfer is getting you healthy answers.
What kind of dog is good for you if you like to exercise? Well, Health Magazine has a list out, and there are certain dogs that are good for people who like to do certain things. So if you're fashioning yourself the next Steve Prefontaine, then a Vizsla or a Weimaraner is probably the dog for you. They like to run for miles on end. If getting to the mailbox is more your speed, then hang out with the Papillon. They like to sprint too. If you live by a beach or a lake, we're jealous. And an English Springer Spaniel, Poodle, or a Lab will race you to shore. If your exercise routine is really just working your upper body in the form of throwing a frisbee or a ball, we won't judge, but find friendship with an Australian Shepherd or a Border Collie. And if it's cold where you are, We're not coming to visit, but grab the sled and your husky, they love winter sports. Golden retrievers, beagles, and Dalmatians like a good hike, while a corgi likes a leisurely walk, and who can blame them with those legs? And the best dog to have by your side? A shelter dog. They're just happy to be anywhere.
Oh, now you want to play too?
I'm Holly Furfur.
Oh, somebody go get it. Go get it.
My dog likes the couch.
Yay for those shelter dogs, that's what I have to say. Well, for more healthy answers, you can visit our website, WJTV.com.
Keep it right here. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
You're watching News Channel 12 at 5.
And we thank you so much for watching News Channel 12 tonight at 5. Happy Halloween. And we will have a look from Hinds County Sheriff's Trunk or Treat tonight at 6.
All right. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock, everybody. Until then, make it a good night.